El Salam, Queen of Queens, Phoenix Ramadan L. Jackson, back in the light of Brazeera Cyber Network. Tonight's Sagittarius New Moonlight video conversation is regarding sowing seeds, positive seeds, for the Jackson Green Arc of Consciousness. The Brazeera video conversations are going to be known as Jackson's Green Arc. Okay, Jackson's Green Arc of Consciousness. This green arc, Jackson's Green Arc, will always be following the legacy of the King of Kings, Michael Joseph Jackson, spirit of divine love. Okay, so, and Salam Alaikum, Mona Hussein Ahmed Abdul. This is your birth, your new beginning, joyous new beginnings to you. I pray to you, pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He'll protect you and love you and keep you as, all, for many more. So let's proceed. Okay? Now, there is only one world, one natural world, one physical world. Okay? And two consciousness operating within it. One indigenous to the natural world and one, one non-indigenous to the natural world. Okay? And all the life that's sustained within the natural world. It opposes that, right? Now, so, and these two consciousness, okay, can be perceived as matter and antimatter, right? Because as we said, no two things can occupy the same space, right? This is the same thing for consciousness, okay? Consciousness is energy as well, okay? We can say one negative, one positive. Positive being the matter, and negative being the antimatter, okay? Now, and they both cannot, like we said, they cannot exist in the same space and time, right? Okay. So, consciousness dictates the manner in which society lives. As we say, it's as a man thinketh, so shall he be, right? The same goes true for culture as a direct manifestation of the collective consciousness, okay? Now, and because there are two current consciousness, matter and antimatter, negative and positive, okay? Now, they cannot both exist within the same culture or the same, the same culture or the same physical world, okay? Now, so, as I said, now, thus, because there are two concurrent cultures operating pervasively in the natural world. Now remember, we're converting, we're saying that culture is consciousness, right? One negative, one positive, okay? One matter, one antimatter, one natural for the world, one unnatural for the world, okay? One culture is, as we said, one culture is based upon, and both cannot exist in the same. One culture is based upon the prophetic teachings of which is a manual of how to exist within the natural world, how to sustain oneself in the natural world, how to protect oneself in the natural world, and so forth, okay? And it's based upon prophetic teachings, okay? From the one who created the natural world, right? Okay. Now, it's a guide of how to coexist within the natural world, okay? Now, okay, and harmonious with the universe, to stay harmonious within the universe, right? To keep the universe, manifesting that which more positivity in the universe, right? Okay. The other is a consciousness that is veiled, okay, behind the prophetic teachings, okay? It is a culture that attempts to incorporate the principles of the prophetic, manual, but in essence, it does so only to convert the energy or transform the energy of the natural world into antimatter, consciousness, right? So that then the world will be transformed to become a a world of antimatter, right? Created and sustained by antimatter, right? Okay. Okay. So we have two consciousness functioning and attempting to coexist within the same one world, which is created upon which is created upon positive matter. Okay. Now, so we got the cultural. Okay. Now, the prophetic consciousness or the prophetic culture, which is sired by the prophets. Okay, and the father of the prophets being Prophet Abraham, right? Okay, so he's the father of the prophets to bring in the knowledge of how to stay positive, how to stay away from antimatter, how to or antimatter consciousness that produces antimatter. Because matter, the consciousness that's structured, the structure of consciousness that produces matter that's what's running. Let's say that's what's utilized in the brain. The structure the structure of consciousness that produces antimatter is harmful to the body and the brain and the world and life and everything. And as I said, it probably produces what is producing cancer, right? And all those holes in the people's brain and all this kind of stuff is the way they think, right? And the way they eat and what they eat, going against their own nature, their own structure of their energy, right? Okay. So the culture of consciousness was sired by the prophet, okay? Prophet Abraham, and given to all the prophets and for all humanity to live by. Okay, because it addresses everything it addresses all matter. Okay, everybody who has a body that matters, everybody who has a body that is structured upon the energy that structured the consciousness that manifests matter, which we all do. Black, white, Mexican, Asian, Indian, Korean, whoever you are. If you're a human being and your body is structured on the consciousness that manifests matter, then you're indigenous to this world. But if the person has a consciousness that's structured upon antimatter, that's structured on antimatter. Wait, if they have a consciousness that if they have a consciousness, if they have the structure of consciousness that manifests antimatter, then that's harmful for themselves and the world, right? Because it's unnatural for the world. Okay, and they go against the prophets, okay? Because the prophets came to teach on how to live in a world that's structured on the consciousness that manifests matter, okay? Now, and truly, the Jacksons, the legacy left to humanity by the King of Kings is a consciousness that's clearly a structure of consciousness, manifest matter, right? Conscious matter, right? More conscious matter, okay? Now, so the prophets brought into conscious. They brought the structure of consciousness that manifests matter in the positive world, in the natural world. Okay. Now, because the entire means by which it exists is to exist. Culture. When we're saying culture, we're saying consciousness, because culture, the way a person lives, the way they think, the way they eat, the way they do anything, okay, it's culture, but it's based upon consciousness. So that consciousness has to be congruent with the structure, okay, of consciousness that manifests the natural world. So then they can be in harmony with the energy of all the world, right? And even the food they eat, right? Okay, most religions, Islam, Christianity, and Judaism, when it first came, the prophets came, Prophet Isa, the one born of a virgin, Prophet Musa, and Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salam, sallallahu alayhi salam, and alayhi salam to all the others. They brought dietary instructions. They got how to live, how to walk, how to talk. Well, not walk and talk, but how to eat. Okay, how to stay positive, how to interact with nature, how to interact with one another, and all those were, you know, means by which to stay positive. Okay, in a positive world. Positive is not an attitude. Okay, it's an energy. Okay, and it's a person has to stay positive. Okay, in order to live positive in this world, to live positively in this world, or to live in conjunction with the energy, the structure of energy in this world, which is based upon the positive structure, the structure that manifests, okay, that makes everything. If you touch a table and you're with positive energy, you're with the your energy is structured based upon the energy that structures consciousness, that manifests energy. When you touch it, you're going to receive, you're going to be in harmonious with the energy. Okay, you two will connect. You'll connect with that table. You'll connect with that bread. You'll connect with that car. You'll connect with your fellow human being. You'll connect regardless of where they're from. You'll connect because you have the same energy. But if the person has an antimatter consciousness structured on the consciousness that structures antimatter, then when they meet somebody, they touch something, everything's going to be against them. That is the manner in which life is structured. So we're to stay positive, not because of our attitude helps, yes, but we got to keep our energy positive. Okay, it's about keeping your energy positive, not just oh hi, good morning, how? Yes, oh, got to be positive to everybody and nice to everybody. No, that's not what it's about. Keep your energy positive. Because sometimes you might need to shut somebody down, right? By saying, you know, tell them to leave it alone or get rough, right? That's what I like about Islam. Because I ain't got to turn the other cheek. Somebody mess with me, you know. If somebody mess with me, I don't have to turn the other cheek and be wise, you know. If I can do so, you know, turn the other cheek. But if I can't turn the other cheek, then it's okay to, you know, to defend myself, you know. Okay. So physically, okay, but the means necessary to do so, right? Okay, so you got to stay positive to keep your, and you got to stay positive to keep your environment healthy. Because a person don't keep their energy positive, then they become like antimatter to, let's say, a tree. Okay, so they touch a tree, they're doing something, they're converting that tree. They're not really converting the tree, but they're diminishing the power, the positivity of that tree just by standing beside it. Or even on the ground. If they stand on the ground and they have the consciousness that, if they have a consciousness that's structured on antimatter, that manifests antimatter, then even standing on the ground, the ground's going to be at odds with them. The insects will be at odds with them. Total life will be at odds with them. Okay? Even the food they eat will be at odds with them because they are antimatter. They are, you know, the opposite of what the nature or the energy that the natural object is composed of. So the consciousness is the same way. And we have that working in this world, right? Consciousness of matter and a consciousness of atom, structured on antimatter, and a consciousness structured on a consciousness that structures that a structure of consciousness that manifests matter, and a structure of consciousness that manifests antimatter. We're human beings. We're structured on, our physical body is structured on the consciousness that manifests matter. That's why we can say, hello, how are you? How you doing? And even kiss, right? Okay. So, so consciousness is culture, because that we form how we're going to live based upon our culture, right? Okay, thus the culture of consciousness, as we said, by prophetic, the prophets, okay, they're in harmony. They get the word from the universe, how the universe was structured, how we're to live in this universe, and all that. And then they give us a manual, and we follow that manual for life. We're supposed to follow that manual for life. There is no changing the law. Okay, there is no Jesus came to change the law. He can't change the law. He couldn't have changed the law because he couldn't have changed the manifestation of the entire universe to become positive or negative. He can only add to it. And that's what I think he said. He came to add to it. He came to add to the positive energy, or the positive energy in the universe. He came to add positive energy to the universe. Okay? He came to be a positive atomic particles. He came to release positive atomic particles to eliminate some of the darkness, right? Some of the negative, or some of the antimatter particles, okay, which is released or emitted, right? Because we emit energy too, and we can emit negative or positive. And as we said, if you emit some of the negative particles or antimatter particles, that's going to absorb some of the, take away some of the particles that are positive, right? Okay, of the matter, right? It's going to dissipate some of the matter, right? Okay, and that's the game here, to dissipate all the positive matter, or all the consciousness that manifests positive matter, and replace that with consciousness that replicates or manifests negative or antimatter, and thereby you destroy the whole world, right? Okay, and this is serious. It's scientific, yes, but it's serious. It's what they're doing. It's what they've been doing all throughout the ages. Okay, now, and it's why the prophets come, and it's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends his good word back into this world to release positive energy, and to give the manual and instruction and all this of, how humanity is to stay positive. Okay, now, okay, so now we said, okay, so the prophets came to teach us to add to the positive energy, okay, take away some of the darkness, okay, some of the positive, because they can, the negative or antimatter consciousness or culture or people can never overtake the abundance of consciousness, that's the consciousness that manifests matter from the prophets, because the prophets are connected to the ultimate positive consciousness, right? The consciousness of the universe. And that is also why it was said humanity must stay connected to the consciousness, okay, that produces matter. And that is the manual, the prophets, and that leads them to the creator that created the world, that the consciousness that manifests matter, right? Okay, not to go the reverse, okay, to the one who does not manifest matter, the antimatter, the one who takes away from the matter. And we're going to see how he does that. It does that, okay, because it's a thing. It's nothing. It's a thing. It's a thing with consciousness, right? Antimatter. Well, let's put it this way: antimatter. Well, okay, yeah, okay. So the prophets came and taught us the manner in which we are to live collectively, or we are to exercise our culture, and to be one culture. Okay, one culture living positively. Now, that's not to say we all got to eat the same bowl of rice cooked the same way every day. No, but we do at least got to say our prayers over our food when we cook it. All of us. No matter if we're in China or if we're in Timbuktu. Okay? That's what we got to do. Okay, so we don't have to wear the same clothes. Okay? But we do have to cover ourselves in a manner in which it keeps our world positive. Okay? We ain't got to, study the same thing, have the same lifestyle in regards to, what time we all do something, but we all got to do it positively, so we stay positive and keep our earth positive, our natural environment positive, and these energies will, go back into the universe positive and come back to us universe. That's what karma is, right? Okay, and that's what the particles do when they're released from our body. They create the antiparticle. When we emit our energy, we emit antiparticles, right? Okay, now we can emit them and they be good, or we can emit them and they be bad. Okay, but one thing is for sure: one day they will come back, and we'll show how. Okay, so we are to live according to the prophetic teachings of and that will create our cultural consciousness, right? The consciousness that produces matter. Okay, so Now, in the consciousness, okay, both either consciousness and matter or antimatter produces it produces matter, right? It produces matter opposed to one another, where they both cannot live in the same world, right? Okay. Because they both have an impact on the one world, the natural world. So the New World Order game is to make the natural world, that's why they're so anti-natural and call it the law of the jungle, right? Because they want to get rid of the natural environment. That's why they're destroying the trees. That's why they're polluting the air. That's why, deforestation, polluting the air, even more so, destroying the livestock with this genetic modification and agriculture and all this kind of stuff, so that you live in a world of antimatter, and it destroys your natural matter and annihilate human beings, and they become extinct because you cannot live in a world of antimatter. Okay, just like an antimatter being cannot live in a world of matter. Okay, they cannot live in a world of matter, natural of matter, because what did we say? They cancel one another out. So one culture of matter is to annihilate the consciousness that manifests, the consciousness that structures antimatter is looking to has to, by law, by its nature, by its design, has to destroy or annihilate the consciousness that structures matter. Okay, only Allah can use this power. That's the electricity and the electromagnetic energy. Only He has that. Those are two atoms, right? Electromagnetic atom and the electric atom, right? Okay, so and those are the two balls, okay, of God, okay, and they're also the two balls that Allah gave to man, right? And negative and positive, right? The female and the male. Those are the two balls. Electromagnetic energy, magnetic energy. And the one who tries to corrupt the world tries to use the antimatter, which would be the electromagnetic, female, to repress her and utilize her energy, okay, while exploiting and repressing her, because he's creating all these negative energy by repressing the female. So he's absorbing that energy, and then he is creating his blue brother fucking world to replace the woman, right? And then trying to convert the man into, a brother fucker, so that the world becomes more negative, right? And then he will be in control of the two balls, right? So this electromagnetic energy, two balls, right, that the man has, male and female, right, is representative of, and don't take this the wrong way, but you got to see life as it is, so it's simple for you. So the two balls of Allah's balls, not physical, not balls like man has. No, they're balls, not balls attached to. He doesn't have a body. He doesn't have a physical body. It's not a body like a human body. No, they're balls of electromagnetic energy. Okay, it's two balls of energy, atomic balls. Not to say that they're attached to him. Don't get that twisted. Not to say that they're attached to him. It's like me holding two little balls in my hand, like the balls on my wrist. Okay, they're not attached to me in that way, but I do have them in my hand, right? So let's say these two balls are, one's electromagnetic, one's magnetic, one is matter, one is antimatter. Okay, one is male, one is female. Those are the balls, but those two balls man represents having two of those balls, the same two balls, okay, of energy, but they're represented in the flesh, right? Attached to his body, and it makes him dominant, just like it says in the Quran. Allah gave the man a little more power than the woman, okay? So he has the power within his two little balls, like the Creator, okay, to replicate, right, the male or female, right? But his two balls, and his two balls are the male and female, okay, chromosomes, but chromosomes, but the representing magnetic and electromagnetic energy, right? Okay. to recreate, and that's what that outcast spirit does not want. He doesn't want man to recreate himself, to recreate more positive, regenerate more positive energy in the world, because he's only because their energy will annihilate him, right? Okay, because we said the opposites of energy annihilate. Okay, but they don't annihilate each other in the physical world, man and woman, because Allah integrated, Allah fused that energy together, right? Okay, but they want to do that with CERN, to fuse those particles to get that electromagnetic energy, or that antimatter particle, right? To control the world, right? Okay, or to annihilate the world, not to control, but to annihilate, recreate the world, right? Okay, to an antimatter world. Okay, now, okay, so okay, so the prophets came to teach humanity how to live and stay positive, right? Okay, so where are we at? Okay, now, because as we said, the matter makes the consciousness that they brought, that consciousness that produces matter, right? And because matter makes a big impact on the world, right? Okay, or yeah, consciousness makes an impact on the world. It manifests the world, right? And what they say, you can manifest things with your thought, right? Okay. So, as we said, culture consciousness what did we say? Okay, let me start again. Okay, so okay, because okay. Now, so as we said, it can make an impact on the world, and life is sustained by life is sustained by the natural world. It is a consciousness that promotes life, and it celebrates life, right? Okay, because it is the nature of life, right? Okay, it is all or nothing consciousness, right? Okay, and it's now the life of the culture of antimatter is constructed upon what? Indulgences, okay, and aggression, secrecy. It is a destructive culture, as we said. It's constructed on indulgences and piracy, okay? Okay, because when the antimatter culture began to, well, I won't say when it began, because it began way back in the garden, right? So, but when the anti-cultural matter, had control of the world through the Vatican, right? Through the Vatican and the, okay, it started giving out indulgences, okay? That is for the people who, let's say the wealthy landowners and those who with lots of wealth in Europe, when they wanted to be recognized in their culture, okay, of men of high standing, they couldn't do it if they were perceived as sinful, right? So what the church would do was, if that wealthy landowner or person who was a pirate or whatever, it didn't matter what he was, if he gave enough money to the church, well, he could basically sell his sin to the church and come out a clean man through the act of indulgences, right? The church, he would indulge the church, right? And the church would indulge him. He could still be sinful, but he'd be clean, because he'd go in there and let the money and pay the church to wash him off, right? And to give him a reputation, right? So he didn't have to worry about, keeping his spirit positive, or keeping his energy positive, or holding on to the consciousness that, structured, the consciousness structured matter for his natural environment. No, it's self-indulgence, right? So he's going to care, that type of mentality, cares only about themselves, and the church, in order to, create abundance of wealth, because they did this, as I said, as was said, to construct St. Peter's Square, right, at the Vatican, to sell indulgence, to sell sin, right? Now, and we all know it's a den of sin, right? Brotherfucking den, sin, right? So they will sell the indulgences. So, you know, this continues today. You know, it's a society that's constructed on, you know, sin and piracy. So the pirates could get indulgent, you know, buy indulgences from the church as well. We're going to go to video